It's going to be a very, very intense journey.
Hello, Internet, and welcome to episode 79 of Frame Skip, another video game podcast. Kind of an intimate show today, pretty special one. I am your leading host today, co-hosted by the ever big, ever sexy, ever big sexy Elijah Loco Lizard Man Steele. Elijah, you look great. You've got Dwight's elf hat with the ears on the hat. You're wearing a Gundam shirt.
My favorite shirt.
Is that from Uniqlo?
This is from... Actually...
Hot Topic. It's okay if it's Hot Topic. I won't make fun of you.
No, where it's from. Otsuko?
Okay.
I thought you meant which Gundam, and I'm like, I was pretty sure it was the regular one.
No, that's RX-78, baby. Yeah,
that's what I thought, and now you had me doubting myself.
That's the White Devil himself, yeah. The Scourge of Solomon. No one calls him that, but I just think it sounds cool. It's just the two of us today. Austin couldn't make it. Seth went back into his tomb to come out for another episode in 400 years. Coach has statewide testing tomorrow for his students, so he's locked up. So yeah, just the two of us. Elijah, I've got some notes from the pre-show. You said three things, and I want to tackle each of them before we really move into the meat and potatoes of this episode, if that's all right with you. All right, cool. First thing you said, seen Anchorman one time. You've seen Anchorman exactly one time.
1, 2, or 3, like something like that. It was very, very, very few, and it was back in the day.
Okay, so if I were to put the line at 1.5, would you take the over or would you take the under?
I would take the over.
Okay.
Like, not a confident over, but like over.
Cool. I like to think that when you die, you just get to see a big stat sheet, like in Grand Theft Auto. And I'm curious to see what your stat sheet is like.
Better than Mac Jones's from last night.
He had the highest passer rating among rookie QBs. He had an 84%. He went 2 for 3.
Yeah.
You child. Yeah.
For 19 yards.
Whatever, man. They won the game. They ran it down their throat. Damian Harris got injured. Matt Judon got injured. Adrian Phillips got injured. And irregardlessly, the Patriots still came out with a W. Top of the AFC. It's Elijah and George. You knew we had to talk about football at some point. God, what a beautiful thing.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm saying I feel terrible for anybody who played Mac Jones in fantasy.
Oh, no, Aaliyah did. My partner Aaliyah did. And man, she just got so boned.
How many points?
I think he technically... Well, he had 19 yards, so like that's not enough for even 1 point for passing.
No.
I think he might have had negative because at the end of the game, he kept kneeling. And like they just kept going further and further back. So like he might have gotten like negative 1 point for like yards lost.
Oh, that's incredible.
I started Kendrick Bourne thinking that would be a good flex play. I didn't know they were going to play in the middle of like a bombo genetic cyclone or whatever fake word they're making up for, a typical nor'easter this year. Sorry, I got distracted. Anchorman one time. How is that possible? How did you survive the 2000s only seeing it, let's say, fewer than 4 times?
I'm not a Will Ferrell fan.
Oh, man. Did he hurt you in some way?
No, I just don't think he's funny.
Oh, man. Uh-oh. Everyone's zigging. Elijah's got a zag.
He's just one of there are a couple comedic actors that I just don't find funny at all. I think I've liked maybe 2 or 3 of his movies, and one of them, technically, he's in it for like not even 5 minutes.
Is it the Lego movie?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, really? Yeah. Sorry, Austin. F yeah, I did it. I guessed correctly. Mental note: 5 minutes, 10 seconds.
But I like Blades of Glory.
Have you seen a movie called Stranger Than Fiction?
I saw part of it.
All right, so that's Will Ferrell, Maggie Gyllenhaal, and the other guy, the guy from The Graduate, whose name escapes me. Not Al Pacino, but the other one. Dustin Hoffman. It's Dustin Hoffman. And so it's Will Ferrell waking up, finding out that he is a fictional character in someone else's book. Incredible movie. Cannot recommend it enough. It has a couple funny parts. I think you would genuinely love that movie.
from what I've heard, it sounds like something I do want to watch it.
Okay.
Like Step Brothers, I'm okay if I just never see. I'm not like actively going against trying to watch it. I'm also never going to actively seek out trying to watch it.
Gotcha. All right, we'll move on. I don't want to beat a dead Will Ferrell horse. Another thing you said in the pre-show notes, you finished Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yes. That show is so good. I may have cried like 4 times in the final episode.
Here's my only problem with that show is it would literally be the perfect show to fall asleep to, except for the opening theme song. That is the only thing wrong, which sucks because like when that show was on Thursdays, I would watch it and the da-na-da-da-na, like that was just like, oh yeah, I'm vibing, I'm feeling this. I'm ready for Jake Peralta to give me some giggles. Like it's going to be great. I just want to see Rosa just like make awkward jokes, and I hope Jason Mantzoukas shows up. Like I just remember like da-na-na-da-da, getting so happy. But man, at 3:00 in the morning when you're like about to fall asleep, and then like just the brass section comes blaring in, only strike against that show. Everything else perfect.
I love how you brought up Adrian Pimento. He is so good.
That episode where he tries to show Jake how to like fake doing cocaine so he can like pretend to do cocaine, and he just gets hopped up on cocaine. Absolutely hilarious.
Oh no, I did it wrong. You got to do it like this.
That and when he like on the Thanksgiving episode where where Holt gives him like 10 grand to start his own like private detective firm, and then he like bets it all on like the Westminster Dog Show or whatever, and he goes to his bookie, and his bookie is just like a college kid who plays the bet from online.
And I love how at the end of the episode you just see him and Holt in this bar and like threaten the barkeep.
Oh god, yeah, like he smashes a bottle to make a knife, and then Holt is like, hell, we're in it this far. Then he smashes a bottle to make a knife, and then they turn the entire bar into a dog show bar. It's fantastic.
So good.
God, does it rank of like favorite rewatchable shows for you now?
It is very, very, very high up there.
Cool.
Actually, if it wasn't for I don't own The Office right now, and I don't have a streaming service that has it. Because of that, Brooklyn Nine-Nine might be like my main put on the background as I'm doing something shows.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, I'm making supper. I'm just going to put on Brooklyn Nine-Nine to listen to.
I think every episode has like a pretty high floor. And then like they actually have like a pretty good rhythm where it's like they're all extremely watchable. They're all enjoyable. But then like every 3 to 4 episodes, there's like a holy crap, I need to sit down and watch this episode.
Yeah.
And so like it actually has like a nice like built-in break for you. Like, you know, you're doing stuff on the weekend, you just have this on, like you're doing housework, you're doing whatever. You're like, oh, okay, time to sit down for a minute. I got to see what happens with the Skyfire writer. Oh god, great show. Third thing you said in the pre-show notes, you said, like they say in Parappa the Rapper, you gotta believe. Do you like that game?
I love Parappa the Rapper.
Have you played it on PlayStation 4?
Not on PS4. I've played it on PS1 and PSP. In fact, I've got the PSP one back there.
Okay. Oh, I think I see it. I can't see it. He has 10,000 video games behind him. I just was trying to make it. It's trying to make, you know, users at home be jealous about our interaction, our little interplay. Oh god, they're so jealous right now. Mission accomplished. That
Kick,
game
punch,
sucks.
It's all in the mind. If you want to test me, I'm sure you'll find the things that teach you are sure to beat you, but nevertheless, take a lesson from teacher. I mean, what?
That game sucks on PlayStation 4. They like didn't calibrate it. They didn't calibrate it for like HD consoles at all.
Yes,
and so there's like there's not a single game I think that like I want to play, I want to beat, I want to platinum more than Parappa the Rapper, but I simply can't. And somehow that game still has like a 18% clearance on PSN profiles. Absolutely infuriating. I have no idea how people did it. Also, that game is so BS because like the reason I've gotten as far as I did was like literally just button mashing, like more so than any fighting game I've ever played. It was just like, button mashing.
When I first learned how to play it, the big thing I had heard people say was, you don't play along with the game, you pretty much beatbox in between it. I'm
yeah. Like, okay.
What? Yeah. And that's what I started doing, and I started winning.
That game made me really nostalgic when I played through it for the first time. Just for like, I feel like games today are a little more conservative in the sense that they just don't take a lot of risks, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah,
And
I
like
completely agree.
that game is so weird. That game is such a risk, you know?
Especially if it's something from a bigger studio. Because you have smaller things, like I'll talk about Inscription later. That's something that you would never see a bigger studio take a risk on something like that.
Mhm.
Parappa, you would never see that.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
All I really wanted for a while was PlayStation to remake a bunch of PlayStation 1 games for the Vita. Like, like Blasto, like Parappa the Rapper, maybe like a nice siphon filter. I mean, we got two really good siphon filters on PSP.
Jet
Would have been
Moto.
nice. Jet Moto would have been awesome. Yeah, like there was just so much potential, I feel like, for like a mid-tier level of games on the Vita that they just did not capitalize on. And Parappa the Rapper was absolutely a game that should have been on. Absolutely.
I completely agree.
All right, that's all I've got for pre-show notes. I'm glad we got to talk about the Patriots. I'm glad I only swore once. Sorry again, Austin. Um, yeah, man, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm tired. It's been it was a long day at work. It was one of those days where it's not super busy, but it's just busy enough to make
Hmm.
it feel like, oh, I can't start a different project otherwise because something's going to come up. But also, I'll finish this super fast. So like, okay, and that was my day at work today. So I'm just
Cool.
feeling, I don't have the blood flowing.
I hear you. That was like whenever I worked at a restaurant, I made way more mistakes when we weren't busy because I just like I couldn't find a rhythm.
Yeah,
I would just like get in my own head. I'd be like sitting there for 20 minutes, like between customers coming in with absolutely nothing to do. And like that's when I would like forget to ask the questions I was supposed to ask, like how do you want your burger? Just random crap like that. But that was always like just losing the rhythm was always a problem.
exactly.
All right, I think that's enough housekeeping. Let's jump into games we've been playing. I know you got one you want to get off your chest. You want to get things started with that?
So actually, I've got two I'll talk about because one is brief, and that's I started, and for now, I'm kind of over Deathloop.
Okay.
I was not feeling the progression of the story in that game, and Austin and I were talking about it on Slack the one night, and the game just made it feel like, hey, do this, but it's kind of in conflict with the other one. So it was like, I'm trying to do the one it's telling me to do, but because of that, I can't do it because I'm not doing the one it's telling me to do.
Hmm.
And was like, I I already had that like mindset in my head at that point where I'd said, you know what, I'm gonna put the game down. I'll come back to it after a while. If I just keep playing it now, I'm gonna have that mind set just stuck in my head. So I'll come back later after I clear my head. It's not making my top 10 for this year at all anyhow.
Wow.
So like it's not like that it was going to affect that at all. Um so I'll play it eventually. I'll get back to it and maybe I'll find that groove again. I wasn't enjoying the pacing of the story at all. But
That's fair. I'm thinking about it right now, and like, I don't know. I guess there's like a lot I like about the game. I'm just not sure how much I like playing the game. It's
yeah,
it's kind of like Star Wars Episode 1 for me, where it's just like, yeah, the costume design's incredible. Like the makeup's great. The set architecture is gorgeous. Like there's so much going right for this game, except the actual
playing it.
interactivity.
Yeah.
I think also like one thing is stealth games really stress me out. Like they're supposed to be fun, and they are not fun for me at all.
See, that's another problem I had, and this isn't the first time because it happened to me when I played Dishonored also, which is
Hmm.
also by Arcane.
Yeah, super
And
similar. Yeah.
and I had a moment where I was in the corner of a house and somebody saw me. And then just I had like 6 guys for me. And I'm just like I was literally just standing in the corner of a house inside with like no open windows
Hmm.
and I was seen. So, I don't know. That's the kind of thing that kind of took away from Dishonored for me, and also Deathloop's big stealth gun, like the nail gun. is absolute garbage, so there's no point in using it.
Sure, yeah, I can see that too.
So, like, I don't even know what there's no essence of, like, longer range stealth, and by longer range, I mean anything without of range like, out of range of your sword.
Mhm.
So, I don't know, stealth just stopped existing to me in that game because I didn't feel like it was well done.
I think it is, like, the most fun version of Dishonored. I still think like, I would still put
That I will
Deathloop
agree
above that.
with.
Like, I think they really took what worked about Dishonored and were like, "Okay, how can we make this more fun more of the time?" And so I do think they succeeded in that regard. But yeah, like, I really I need to finish it still. I mean, we have, like, our Game of the Year deliberations coming up. In fact, let's give a little insight to people. Are we doing that this year, or are we doing it first episode of, the new year?
So, I believe it is the first or the last episode of this year, which
Alright.
I think is technically the first was it, like, December 31st or something like that?
Okay, yeah, there's okay, I hear you. So, like, way we record versus okay, versus
Yeah,
published date.
yeah.
Gotcha.
We
Okay,
would record on, like, the 27th or something like that, and
gotcha.
it would actually publish on the 31st.
Gotcha, gotcha. Cool, cool. So yeah, I should finish it before then. I grabbed a whole bunch of games on sale that I need to at least start as well.
Yeah.
I grabbed Tales of Arise.
That's actually gonna be after I finish Inscription, Guardians, and House of Ashes, which if I just buckle down, I can do it pretty easily.
Mhm.
Tales of Arise is the next one I'm starting up.
And I got Scarlet Nexus too, just based on how much you love that game over the summer.
I adore that game with every fiber of my being.
Cool, cool. All right. So it looks like I got some goodies still to snap into before the end of the year.
But the other game I want to talk about is Inscription, which I've had my eye on, and it looked like an Elijah game. And I actually had a friend of mine gift it to me on Steam because it, I have a hard time buying Steam games because no matter
Mhm.
how much I want to play them, I often have trouble actually playing them.
Sure.
Uh,
Yeah.
but I started up Inscription last night, and I'm trying to think of the words I want to use for this game because
Boner boner juice. How does that? Is that close?
yes,
Okay.
um, basically it starts out like a horror card game slash puzzle game.
Mhm.
Um, but it very quickly alters course. To give you an idea, this game was made by the same guy who made the game Pony Island, which I don't know if you've ever heard of that,
I have
but
not. No.
Pony Island, funny name, stuff like that. When you start
Yeah.
playing it, it plays just like an old arcade game, like a side-scrolling, almost like Atari style Mario ripoff.
Okay.
And then you fast find out you're actually stuck in hell and you're trying to escape this retro arcade cabinet to escape hell.
Okay. That's heavy. Yeah.
And like it starts going into like there's words and codes to access in the credits of this Pony Island game in the game, and then you need to try and find the stuff to like break the arcade cabinet, and it's it's wacky, it's wild, and if it gives you any idea, it's made by the same guy.
Okay.
This game is going places, and without saying much more, right now I'm in an 8-bit RPG,
Okay. All right.
card-based RPG 8-bit game. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds truly awful. The 8-bit generation was good at some things. I can't imagine I can't imagine a card game working in 8-bit. Like it's kind of a miracle that like Pokemon the trading card game worked on Game Boy at all.
Yeah. If it gives you any indication, I heard what the ending of this game is like,
Mhm.
and my mind literally couldn't picture it.
Okay. All
So
right.
that's like even knowing the way the game ends, and I kind of forget it because it was a lot of stuff. I'm like, what is going on right now? My head is going to explode. I
Mhm.
want to witness it for myself. Like I said, I don't really play PC games. This is all I want to play. I should play more Forza tonight to finish getting the Trueno. I'm not. I'm just gonna play Inscription.
Was it Seth who was saying that he liked Forza Horizon 4 more than 5?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I'm actually with him on this one.
I think I
Like
am too.
it just doesn't feel like that different than that game. Like this game's like immaculate. It's obviously better. I don't mean to take away from it, but like I just think Forza Horizon 4 just had like a bigger punch.
I think I enjoyed the map more.
Hmm.
Like, not that this one's bad at all, but I think I just had more fun with the other one.
I do feel awkward just like being in a car going through the desert and just running over every cactus. Like it's nice that they gave you something to do in like the off-road sections, but I also just like the disconnect of just like me being dropped into this country and just like destroying its natural beauty. Not that I mean it's a video game, like I understand that. I don't mean to be like that much of like a like a
Curmudgeon.
waypoint writer. Yeah. But like man, like it's just like so when I'm under the influence playing this game, I definitely think about that a lot and the moral implications of my actions. Going for smash tis after smash tis.
But yeah, that's basically all I've been playing.
All
I've been
right.
playing Guardians, but I'm gonna wait until after I finish it to talk about it because I'm getting close.
Yeah, man, I stopped like 2 to 3 levels before the end, and I can't remember why. I think my Series X came in, and I think I was distracted, but I need to go back and finish that game as well because that is easily one of my Gautier contenders right now.
But yeah, that's everything for me.
Cool.
What about you?
I have been playing Lego Star Wars: The Force Awakens on my Vita. I have been playing Mass Effect 2 on my PlayStation 4. And I actually got a subscription to Shonen Jump on my phone. And I am on
Ooh,
chapter 34 of Dragon Ball.
nice.
Yeah, so keeping busy. Keeping busy. Also, what an incredible deal. It's like $2 a month for Shonen Jump.
Really?
Yeah, and like the reader itself is just as good, if not better, than like any like Marvel Unlimited or DC Infinite or whatever it's called.
Huh. That is interesting. I've
Oh
actually
god,
been reading a lot of manga again myself.
yeah, man, lots of big horny energy in early Dragon Ball. Man,
Oh god, yes.
Master Roshi shows up doing anything for just a peek at some panties. Goku's going around trying to figure out if people are boys or girls just by touching their genitals. It's a lot. It's a lot in
Yes, it is.
what I assume is a children's book series. But that is pretty much it. Did I share that I got the platinum in Vice City? I can't remember. I feel like because we didn't record last week or the week before, we're off schedule wise.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Oh, I got the platinum in Vice City. Felt good. Felt good. Felt good.
Proud of you.
Thank you. Yeah, I think I'm at 85 platinums. I know I can get the Mass Effect 3 platinum tonight. I intend to. Or Mass Effect 2 platinum tonight. I intend to. But man, just Halo comes out tomorrow, and I just don't know how much PlayStation gaming I'll be doing for the rest of the year once that comes out. But
Yeah, that's fair. I'm excited to play it. I might do that a little more sparingly, just because from what I've heard about it, because it sounds incredible,
mhm,
but I feel like that's one I'm going to want to relax a little more with.
sure.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how to explain it, but I don't feel like it's one I could sit there and play all night.
Well, it's just weird because like the campaign itself, I've seen it clocked in between like 20 and 30 hours, which is already like, you know, 3 times as long as like the longest Halo campaign previously. So like it seems like they fundamentally changed like what it means to be a Halo game, which I guess is good because,
Oh yeah,
previous couple Halo games weren't working the best for them. I still think there's a lot to like about 4 and Guardians, but I know I'm in the minority there. So yeah, I'm excited, but I think I'm finally going to break my tradition of beating the Halo game the day it comes out, like the night it comes out. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that tomorrow, unfortunately.
especially since it doesn't unlock for us until 1 o'clock.
Yeah, that's weird. What happens at just like midnight releases? Also, like I've been trying to like preload the game,
You
and
can't.
like
There's no
okay,
preload.
that's so stupid.
Yeah,
How
so
is that?
like you can't even start installing it until 1 o'clock.
That's so dumb. God, that's dumb. I think I need to delete Flight Simulator because, like, I don't even know how big the game is. So it would be really nice to know how big the game is, so I can know like which hard drive decisions I need
It's
to make.
valid.
Ugh, anyways, thanks Microsoft. We got a topic for tonight's show. I want to pause on that for a little bit because you or Austin shared a very interesting article from Kotaku talking about how PlayStation is rumored to be developing a Game Pass competitor
Yeah.
to release next spring. That's exciting. That's something I feel like we've talked about wanting. Also, something I feel like they're already like that's exactly what PlayStation Now is. It's just a branding issue, but it's exciting because they also mentioned that some older games would be coming. We're gonna be playing some
Yes.
PSP games, some PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and most importantly, some PlayStation 3. Not important because the games were great, they were, but important because we never thought we'd be able to play a PlayStation 3 game ever again on a PlayStation console because of how difficult it was to develop for. How stoked are you?
So here's the thing though for me is like I'm very excited at the prospect. I
Mhm.
also really love the project name, Project Spartacus. Um but again, if it's gonna just be streaming PS3, then we can already do that.
Yeah.
Like PSP and PS1, sure, like that'll be great. But like I feel like I don't know. It it didn't ruffle my feathers as much as I thought it would, but at the
Mhm.
same time, Game Pass doesn't really ruffle my feathers as much as I thought it would.
Sure.
Um, because I have an all digital Xbox, I'm okay with like, oh, I'll use Game Pass for Halo and such.
For first party games, yeah.
Yeah. But since I have a physical PS5, any like PSP, that is one thing. Another thing they had mentioned PS5 games as well, which as of the moment is not part of PS Now at all.
Right.
Um, but at the same time, since I have a disc-based PlayStation, I'd much rather just have the disc for. I'm one of those people that, for multiple reasons, likes to have a physical copy of the game,
I hear you.
whether it be for uh, protection on like ownership, or even if you said, "Man, that game sounds great," and I could say, "Yeah, I'll let you borrow it."
I just like the library of it. Like I love seeing like you can't see Elijah's setup. Maybe we'll get him to snap a pic and we could share it with the tweet uh, when we release this episode. But man, it's just so nice. Also, I love the lights and the decorating you did in your
Thank
room.
you.
Looks fantastic.
Very
Very
festive.
festive. Yeah. Pinch
Hey.
poke. Yeah, pinch poke. You owe me a coke. But yeah, just seeing like the history, like the physical history of like a console's life cycle of a generation, like it's really cool, man. And it's like I don't know, like people are so proud to have their books out and about that I don't really understand why it's like such a reach for people to want to display their games because I've got a DVD
And
collection,
like,
I got a Blu-ray collection, like I want to do the same thing, you know?
I guess I would understand much more if it was a situation of like digital books being expensive or not being as easy to come by, but they're just as easy and just as cheap. Often a lot cheaper. I got a $5 free use thing for Amazon's Kindle service, and I
Mhm.
bought like 6 books out of it.
Yeah, man, this happened. It's like around Hurricane Katrina, and obviously a lot of terrible things happen around Hurricane Katrina. I don't mean to discount the loss of life, the loss of property, the loss of homes, like any of that. But man, like gas got more expensive, right?
Mhm.
And then gas came back down. Plastic got more expensive, and the cost of plastic things did not go back down. And it's just one of those things where like I know exactly why it should have gone down because like the petroleum reserves were hit in the Gulf. A lot of that's used to make plastic, so plastic is more expensive because the supply to make it has been damaged. Like, okay, I
Mhm.
understand that. I understand why it goes up, but why didn't it go back down
Yep.
once we recovered from that? And it's just like all these games, like all right, a digital game is releasing. It costs nothing in plastic. It costs nothing in paper. For like the game cover, for like any insert that goes on the inside. You don't have to pay a store to ship them. Like there's all these like additive costs. And it's like, okay, so why that aren't present with a digital game? It's like, all right, cool. So like, why is it the same freaking price as the one in the
And
store?
like, I understand why it's the same price, but at the same time, and that's mainly because there's no way you could have it for $49.99 or in physical stores $59.99, because the store, your partner who's selling these games for you, would probably get upset if everyone's like, I'm gonna go the cheaper route.
Yeah. No, you can't dig over your partners like
Yeah,
that, but also like it's just completely betraying like what's supposed to be the one like saving benefit of like digital. Like,
exactly. Well,
yeah.
two saving benefits, because the other one is space, just in general.
Sure, yeah.
Um, and
Agree, because environmental concerns. Like
yeah,
there's so many reasons why it's like a good thing. And it's just, man, they just I hate to make it that kind of podcast, but just like these capitalistic like practices that just like are reinforcing the wrong lesson that should be learned from this whole experience. I'm not an economist. I'm not going to pretend to understand all these market forces, but like I can at least see the logic in why a digital good should be cheaper than a physical good. like I don't think I need a degree to really unpack that one.
yeah. So, like, and the other thing to keep in mind is you have one shelf. Physical game or digital games play just like physical book or physical games. Like
Mhm.
digital and physical, like you're gonna play it on your screen, it's gonna look the exact same. A physical book and a digital book, you're looking at the physical book, which could be 8 by 6 by 4,
Mhm.
and then your option might be, well, I can read it on my phone. I would not choose to have that be the main way I would read. At that point, I would get like a Kindle or something.
Which is funny, yeah, because I do read on my phone because like, man, the Star Wars novels that came out, I was super excited about those. Those are like just such a pain in the ass to put on your shelf because they are like so differently shaped compared
Oh
to
god,
every
yeah.
other book that exists.
God, yes.
So I can't do like those mass market trade paperbacks anymore.
I
Like
have
they're
the
4 inches wide, they're 8 inches tall. Like it's just infuriating.
I have the screenplay books for The Witch and Ex Machina, and
Mhm.
they are literally like a quarter of an inch too big for my shelf. I'm like, so right now they're just sitting at the front section of my shelf in front of my books, just on an
Mhm.
angle. Because I'm like,
Yeah,
I don't. But then you have games which are all the same size, basically.
yeah. Man, that'd be kind of nuts though. Like, can you imagine a world where like the physical space that a game took up, like a physical game took up, had to be relative to like its file size compared to other games? That'd be kind of wild. Like Call of Duty would just be like an 8 inch by 12 inch tome that came out every year, and then like every limited run game would just be like a box of Tic Tacs, just sitting on the shelf next to
As someone
it.
who likes to get the smaller games, I would love this. More room.
Oh my god, yeah, you feel like a giant, right?
Oh god, yes.
All right. I'm gonna see if our editor is listening. Let's take a quick break and put a little sound block in here to delineate the next part of the show, which is happening right now.
Where do you keep finding the jingle balls?
Elijah, I knew it was gonna be just the two of us. You knew it was gonna be just the two of us. Did you secretly get really excited? Didn't have
Yeah.
to deal with the
Yeah.
foreplay of other people. Didn't have to make Austin feel special. Didn't have to make
Yeah.
Coach feel special. It's just you and me.
Exactly.
Just direct eye contact so far for these last 35 minutes, and it's been great. I threw out a topic idea called gaming confessions, and this was like a chance for us to sort of clear the air about some things we've done or haven't done in the space of gaming. And I gave you an example, and I want to give that same example to the listeners, to the audience of Frameskip. I've never played Symphony of the Night.
It's so good.
I've seen it played. It looks cool. It looks pretty. it just really doesn't look like anything I actually give a crap about. I'm
And
so
that's fair.
sorry.
That's
Yeah.
fair. Symphony of the Night it's a fantastic game, but I also understand how you could go back and play it now and be like, okay, maybe this isn't what I want. And the translation is still gold.
God, yeah. What is that? Like, what is a man but a miserable pile of secrets, right? Like,
Yes.
that's clearly not like a one for one translation, but became iconic, like in its own.
Oh yeah.
Like, what's that other one? Like, all your base are belong to me.
All
Like,
your base are belong to us.
are belong to us. Yeah. Elijah, do you have a confession you want to get off your chest? We can just keep going back and forth until we run out.
I do. I haven't really told many people about this except for the people that were involved, but I would just want to make it more widely known that I did this. Back in 2015, I was like, Life is Strange is definitely the best game to come out this year. The Witcher 3 sucks. Keep in mind, I did not play The Witcher 3,
Mm-hmm.
and I would later play The Witcher 3 only to realize it's one of the best games ever made and I love it. My confession
Okay.
was me dunking on the game without even playing it. And I was just doing it because everybody around me wouldn't shut up about it.
Hey, man, that's a good confession. That's good airing of grievances. This isn't our Festivus episode, so I guess I take back airing of grievances, but good airing of confession. I'm proud of you.
I'm not proud of it, but I did it.
Yeah.
But also play The Witcher 3, but also play Life is Strange.
Okay.
Incredible.
I think Life is Strange is incredibly boring. I think that's like a
I get
platinum.
that.
I have a platinum just teed up in that game. I'm on like episode 4, and I just can't do it. I
It's
want
okay.
to, but
It's
I can't.
at least you're not getting to the best part.
That's good. I was worried.
That's a joke.
I was
because
worried.
you
I was
are.
worried. I already had seen the best part, and I'm like, this is all you've got.
I don't.
Oh man,
There,
I need to make up so much in 2022. Just like all these games that like you guys love. I need to play them just to shut you up. I think.
Doki Doki Literature Club.
Yeah, I'll freaking get to it, man. Damn, we're on air. Do you have to air our dirty laundry like right now? You have to.
Yeah.
All right.
What is your next?
My next. A lot of mine have to do with playing or not playing certain games, and so I'm gonna give out 3 games right now just to sort of like group them together. Symphony of the Night, I feel like is just important enough to gaming. Where like saying you haven't played that is like kind of like saying like I was a film major in college and like a big film buff now, and it's kind of, I feel like it's the equivalent of saying like you've never seen Citizen Kane, where it's like whether it's good or not, just the fact that you haven't engaged with it is kind of like the bigger deal. All right, so the next 3 games, I have never finished Half-Life 2. I have never finished like pretty much any Final Fantasy game actually. And I never finished a Grand Theft Auto game until 2 years ago. And now I've got the platinum in Vice City twice. So I've since corrected that, but
Good.
Man, there's just so much to do out there, Elijah. There's so much to do.
No, it's so true. Because you only have so much time. For example, I will give one of mine is I have never played a Donkey Kong game.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
To make it even broader, I have never played a Super Nintendo.
That's funny. That's actually one of my confessions is that I don't think the Super Nintendo is that great.
Like I can't say I didn't play Super Nintendo games because like I have
Yeah.
the Super Nintendo Classic, but
Mhm.
I've never actually played a Super Nintendo. And the other one is just, and I know people know this about me, but I don't think the new Doom games are good. I think they're incredibly boring.
Okay. So this is just turning into hot takes, huh?
That one is just, I want to like that game. That's why it's not so much just like a hot take as it is a confession. I want to like it. Doom 3, I love.
Yeah.
But just the new Doom games, I can't. I can't.
We're turning into an ASMR podcast.
Welcome to the Logo and George Power Hour.
It's just the two of us for 60 minutes. In your ear holes. Just the two of us.
We can make it if we try.
Just the two of us. You and
I.
I.
I don't even know if those are the lyrics to the song.
Those are the lyrics, yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
It really feels good taking like a little ASMR break every once in a while. It's pretty good.
I'm a big Asmer fan myself.
Yeah. I had asthma when I was a kid.
Me
so
too.
I'm glad I've since gotten over it.
Me too. It's amazing. I played soccer because every fifth step I was just.
Yeah. So sorry, gaming confession. I think the Super Nintendo is like a supremely overrated console, and like I get why people like it, but to me, it's kind of like it's the difference between like Blu-rays and 4K Blu-rays. Like I'm willing to admit it's better, but like it's not that much better that like people need to lose their minds. Like I guess I'm just like sick of people who played Super Metroid once in 1994 and think it's like the best game of all time. Like I think this is like really just like a dig against those people. And I'm not saying that those games are bad. I'm just saying like, man, I just don't care for them at all. And like I would take Super Mario Brothers 3 over Super Mario World any day of the week.
I think I would too, actually.
Yeah. I guess like A Link to the Past is better. But like Metroid Prime over Super Metroid. The new Donkey Kong Country like Returns games on Wii and Wii U and I guess Switch now technically. I take those over like the Super Nintendo games. I don't know. I don't really care for the 16-bit era of games. I think like the art is gorgeous, but besides that, I just don't care for it at all.
I think I'm with you there. Because I mean, even when I look at that year range, now I know this is a little later, but I would take like the PlayStation or the N64 any day.
Yeah.
Even though I think Super Nintendo and like Genesis and everything games still hold up better. Like it's much easier to go play a Genesis game than to play like an early 3D platformer.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I would rather take the early 3D platformer just because it felt better.
Yeah. Yeah, I can get behind that. How many of our audience members do you think we've alienated so far? Because we still got some time to go.
I know my Doom one definitely got quite a few. And
Okay.
then the Super Nintendo take, well, considering we both agreed on it.
Yeah.
Okay. I will give another confession that's actually related to my collection.
Ooh.
Let's see if you can guess. What do you think is my favorite console to collect for?
Based on the photo, I want to say it's PlayStation 4. But I think...
Not the one I have the most of, but the one
Yeah.
I enjoy the most when I get a game for it.
I mean, it's got to be Vita, right?
It's not.
It's not the Vita? Oh, man.
I absolutely love collecting for Vita.
Is it PlayStation 2? Is it that
It
era?
is not. Not
I
that
got
era.
nothing, man. You're throwing all these curveballs. Like I can only hit like an offside. What do we got?
My confession is that my favorite console to collect games for is the 3DO.
Really?
And every time I get a 3DO game, I get so ecstatic.
Okay.
Like that is my favorite. Like I love collecting for anything basically, but I have 3 3DO games and I want more. Like I love Demolition Man, but I want more than Demolition Man, Need for Speed, and FIFA.
I want you to have more than that too. I'm just gonna piggyback into this. I think my favorite system to collect for is probably the DS. There's just something about like the size of the case that I find really satisfying. There's something about like the art direction on the sides that I really enjoy. The thickness of like the plastic case itself is great. Like those games, like if you like push them on, like pinch them like on the sides, like it doesn't really like move in the way like a Vita
Yeah.
case does or like a PlayStation case does.
Yeah.
Like a PlayStation like 4 case. Yeah, man, there's just something great like that and Dreamcast games, just because that makes me feel like I'm a kid again, just like collecting CDs.
There's something about Dreamcast games that just feels special, so I get it. Like, I only have, like, maybe 5 or 6, and I think half of them are Japanese,
Mhm.
but there's just something special, like, when I see a Dreamcast case, I'm like, "That's nice. I like that."
Yeah, it's good. It's good looks, good vibes.
Exactly. Curious now what Dreamcast games I have. I don't remember.
Oh man, we should open up a library at some point. That'd be fun.
I'm in.
Cool, cool. Let's see. What's my next one? We didn't write any of these down. We're literally just going off the top of our head, and we're trying to think of like the most interesting confessions we could make. I don't think the PlayStation 2 is a very good console.
I think I agree with you.
Okay.
Because I think it's good, but everyone makes it out to be, like, the greatest console of all time. I don't know about that.
If I could get a game from that era, I would prefer to get it on Xbox because the Xbox just like ran better.
Yes.
And then I would try to get it on GameCube. And if I couldn't get it on either of those two, I would have to get it on PlayStation 2. But like Grand Theft Auto Vice City, I had no idea that game would ever come to other consoles. So like I really just like made a compromise with myself and got it on PS2 because I didn't have a choice. Good man, I had the PS2 fat and it just ran like a turd compared to
Yep.
GameCube and Xbox. And
I think I'm right with you on that. I just like you, Xbox would be my main choice, then GameCube, then PS2. It like it's got a good library, but I enjoyed the uh exclusives on it because there were just
sure.
so many RPGs that weren't available anywhere else.
Oh yeah, you couldn't
But
play Final Fantasy X anywhere but. And like I assume I'm like a recent convert to Final Fantasy X on Vita, but I have to assume back when you were a kid, that was just like the coolest thing.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
But like not even just that, the dot hack games were all PlayStation exclusive, like PS2. There were so many great RPGs on the console, sure, but the console itself was fine.
yeah, kind of a wreck. It mine crashed a lot.
It sold so much because it had the DVD player.
Yeah,
If I'm not mistaken, I think it was basically like the first uh what's the word I'm looking for?
consumer friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like pricing wise, consumer friendly DVD player on the market.
man, I wonder how many. It's tough, right? Because like you think about how many people became gamers because like they did have a PlayStation 2 because that was like the first like sub $500 DVD player, right?
Mhm.
And you think about like an entire generation of gamers who are just gonna get wiped out because it's like, oh no, like well we have a smart TV with all like the streaming stuff, like we don't need discs anymore. But then you factor in like Android and Apple, and like those are the kinds of gamers you're getting now. Where like
Yeah.
there's going to be a conversation in some college sometime soon where it's just like, hey man, like you like games? It's like, dude, Temple Run was my childhood. Like that's going to
Uh,
be a conversation where it's just like two kids bonding over the fact that they both love playing Temple Run on their iPod Touch.
it's amazing that like iPod Touch, they came out with another one 2 years ago. And like so this week, oh my god, it's this week. Monster Rancher 1 and 2 are releasing on the Switch
Hmm.
and the iPod Touch.
That's incredible.
And it blows my mind, and also I need to buy those games. But it just blows my mind there's still iPod Touch games coming out.
All right. Here's another confession. If you give me the most boring way to do something in a video game, that's how I'm going to do it. And so when I say that, I mean like every time I've played Skyrim multiple times, I am a one-handed warrior
Yes.
every single time I play
Same.
that game.
Same.
I've never like I guess with VR, I've played a little bit doing like the two-handed dual caster mage because you actually shoot in two different directions, and that's like a life changer in that game.
It's
But
also
man,
fun.
it is also fun. Yeah. God, Skyrim VR is great. I need to find. I'm missing
really
like the box unit or whatever, like the power adapter part.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't find that anywhere, so I need to track that down. But man, I always play like that. I always play as like the warrior in any game. If you give me a choice between like an archer, a warrior, and a mage, I always go with just the warrior. I'm the
And-
most boring person ever when it comes to video
And see, I'm
games.
kind of like you, but in a different way. I'm always just the archer. Always.
Okay.
Just every time.
Mhm.
I'm an archer. You can be these multiple that just the archer. But what about archer? I
No,
want to use
that's-
I want to use bow and arrow. Bow and
That's
arrow
really
is sexy to
interesting,
me.
but that's really interesting. But you know what? Like, I want to be the warrior. Yeah. No, I get it. It's like, oh wow, Legolas. That's cool. Yeah, cool. I'm gonna be Aragorn. That's fine.
Is Legolas a warrior? No. All right. Well,
No.
then see, we're
Yeah.
God. This is why we make a great team. Together, we're the warrior and the archer.
Oh my god, we complement each other so well. We're Gimli and Legolas. I'll let you be Legolas, I guess, in this metaphor. No, like yeah. And so like I almost wish some games would like stop giving so many choices.
This okay. We started on this. Now I have to ask what you think.
Yeah.
Okay, you're Gimli.
Yeah.
I'm Legolas. Who are Austin, Seth, and Coach?
Oh man.
I feel like I love Coach dearly.
Yeah.
Boromir.
That was my immediate thought as well. So
For Austin,
I think let's defend it a little bit. And obviously this isn't a 1-to-1 because like Boromir died doing kind of a shystery thing. But I think that fits because Coach is always like an optimist about a lot of stuff. And so the whole idea of like Boromir, like, why not use the ring against him? I see like Coach making an argument like that. That's like where it ends, but it's like that sort of character profile is where I see it. Okay. Yeah, I'm with you.
And like, even though, the whole thing kind of ended his life with him doing a kind of not crap or a kind of crappy thing. It also ended with him being like, you know what? I screwed up. I'm going to sacrifice my life to make sure these people get away. And
Yeah.
I feel like that's something Coach would do.
Oh man, yeah, he landed the plane. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So that's where I was coming with this. I didn't think Coach was going to like try and steal my jewelry.
I didn't think so either. I think Seth has got to be Mary, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
If not the actual Gimli.
Yeah, I see him as Mary. Austin? I think I see Austin as Frodo.
I was thinking Sam, but yeah, they do complement each other pretty well.
The reason being is I think Austin would have the most clear head.
Mm-hmm.
Sam just wants to go home. And I feel like Austin would be the one, I'm up for some adventuring and have a clear head while doing it.
I don't know. I've floated some ideas for his bachelor party and just shoots them all down. So I don't know who this adventurous Austin you think you know.
Well, you know what? The cake that is dog fighting with another cake that's a dragon, maybe that's just not his thing.
Okay, yeah. Well, there's always next marriage.
God, I want to watch the League again now.
Yeah, sorry, it's all the members of the fellowship who are not named. We just don't have that many friends. Let's see. Do you have any more confessions? I can think of some off the spot.
So okay, here's one. My confession is when I bought my PS3, I was playing it on a CRT TV. I wasn't even playing it in good quality.
Yeah.
I was watching my Blu-ray of Superbad on this old CRT TV.
Nice.
I don't know. That felt right to me for the longest time.
I remember buying a 40-inch Sony Bravia in 2009. It was a floor model So it's used and like open. I bought it for like $780 with tax. It came out to like 800. I recently bought a 65-inch Samsung for like 450.
Oh, how the times have changed.
Yeah, like 4K HDR, like great refresh rate. Like God, College George was an idiot.
I had I had just gotten rid of this TV this year. It was a 46-inch flat screen that I'd gotten a 32-inch for like $600.
Mhm.
Or no, it was like 550 or something like that. And I got the warranty. Well, the panel broke on it. It was a touch panel, and it broke on it. So a technician came out to look at it, and he says, "Okay, well, this is the problem. You should have your part within the next 30 days, and we'll be back to fix it." Well past 30 days, we get a phone call from Sears wondering how the customer service was. And well, at the end of that call, my mother, whom I love dearly, because at the time I think I was like 18, 19, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's how long I've had this TV. At the end of the phone call, my mom hangs up and goes, "Well, they just credited us $1,200 to get a new TV." So I went and got my 46-inch flat screen.
Nice.
And now hanging down the living room is the 65-inch TV that was less than the 32-inch I originally got.
Yeah, God. Ugh.
Yeah.
I bought a 500 gigabyte PlayStation 3, like the top loading, like Jewel. Really slick red one. I got that with 2 games and 2 controllers for $75, which is a little bit. It's like a game now with tax.
Yeah. Wow. Because I have that same PS3, but I have the was it like Glacier Blue or whatever it was called?
Yeah, that one's sick, yeah.
And I got it off GameStop actually for I think it was 130.
Nice.
It was because my PS3 just stopped reading discs, and I'm like, well, I want a PS3.
Sorry, we're not bragging. We're just like I think we're just like both amazed at like how much cheaper things have gotten in our lifetime. Like I mean, like like not important stuff. Like obviously a TV is not as important as like I don't know, like healthcare. But it's just amazing. Let's see. Any more gaming confessions?
I'm trying to think. Okay. I have one.
All right.
I think I like maybe one Mario game. And with that, one Legend of Zelda game.
Let me guess, it's a pocket full of sunshine.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, sorry. I don't know the words to that song. I took a risk.
I got a pocket, that. I got a pocket,
Yeah.
got a pocket full of sunshine. I got love, and I know that's all mine. Oh.
Okay, that's the one.
Easy A is one of my favorite movies.
Fair enough.
But yeah, and then Twilight Princess is the only Legend of Zelda game I like. So
I think more than like I like not Majora's Mask. I like Wind Waker and A Link Between Worlds, and that's pretty much it.
Majora's Mask I don't mind also.
I just man, like it's really hard for me to get up for Nintendo. Is that a gaming confession? Where like I just don't care about Nintendo the way I used to.
No, I'm with you there because I used to be big into Nintendo stuff. Like not even, granted, like I said, never really Mario or Legend of Zelda, but like just Zelda or Nintendo games in general I enjoyed, and I just don't anymore. It's not that the games are bad, I just don't.
Mm-hmm.
But
ooh, here's another confession. Or at least this one might be more of a hot take than a confession. I think that if you are good at Madden, you are better at video games than someone who is good at Dark Souls.
Interesting.
I think Madden and like basically like any of the sports games, I think they get so much flack for being like, filthy casual games. It's just like, oh, you just buy Madden and FIFA every year. It's like, yeah, I do. Like in Call of Duty, whatever. Like the gaming stereotype is for just like bros. I think Madden is like an impossible game to play. I haven't really tried since like PlayStation 2. Like the last sports game I got really into is like ESPN NFL 2K5, like the one with like To on the cover.
So the one person I'm in a bunch of fantasy leagues with, he
Hmm.
basically knows how to cheat the system in Madden, and he will win the game using one play over and over and over again, and
Yeah,
he'll win like 65-7.
is it just a deep pass, like just mossing someone?
I don't remember what the name of the play is, but basically it's a cross, and both players will run up the field about 10 yards, and one player will cut to the
Hook in the middle.
yeah, and the other one will just keep going straight.
Hmm.
And the s- the CPU will always have one guy covering the two.
Okay.
So always one of them is going to be open, and he just
They gotta do what the NFL is doing. They gotta start doing the cover two. They gotta start dropping two
exactly.
safeties back. Shut down Mahomes for 6 weeks. Um,
I enjoyed
I
it.
played I played a little bit of the one where Gronk was on the cover. I definitely went out and bought that for PS4. I just think those games take like
17?
I think so. Yeah, I just think those games take like way more skill than they ever get credit for.
Yeah, I get that, especially because as of late the games cheat. So
Yeah, and so well, like this is all like your friend aside, your little scummy
yeah,
pirate friend aside, like people who play the game like earnestly and in the way it's intended. I
yeah.
just think like if you're good at Madden, like I think you're like actually like really good at video games because like on top of all that stuff, like the menu management in that game is like absolutely
Oh my
insane.
god, it's bonkers.
It's like more than any like I felt like the closest I've come to it is like when I tried to play Final Fantasy 14.
Menus the game.
Yeah, right. It's just like layers and layers of menu navigation that just like blow my mind. And it's like on top of being good at video games, you also like kind of need to know what you're doing in football,
Yeah,
which is sort of a different skill set than just like being able to play video games. And I don't know, like when you actually like drop back for a pass, like it actually feels like, okay, crap, like where's my window? Like, do I bullet pass? Do I like do it like to his outside, to his inside shoulder? Like, what do I do here? Like, there's just like so many variables for you to think about.
exactly. And like playing a Dark Souls game is like a dance. It's a rhythm. You find the beat. You see what's going on. With Madden, you have so much more happening at one time
Yeah,
to keep track of and make your decisions based on.
yeah. I didn't mean to like attack Dark Souls specifically.
No, but it's true though.
Just like the stereotype of like that's a real game. Sekiro is a real game. I think like sports sim games are personally like not fun because they're so simmy. Like that's why I like can't really. The Vita Madden is like the limit for me. Like that's like the most sim because like they barely made it sim for the console because like they didn't know what they were doing.
I'll
And I hate
never
that like
forget
I hate all the awards being named after the Giants who just beat the Pats in the Super Bowl that year.
the one trophy in that game is score an 80+ yard touchdown with Victor Cruz.
Yeah. And like I don't even think that was called like cruise ship or anything. Like it didn't
No,
even have like that
no,
fun a name.
it didn't. It was upsetting.
But yeah, I think those games are super tough. I think Forza is like the borderline. Like I think Motorsport is like an actual like insane game, but like Horizon does its best to like make the games fun.
Yeah. I think the big thing for me is I enjoy the sim racing games just because I can go out and play some field football with someone.
Hmm.
I can't go out and be like, "Yo, let's see what this Lambo can do on a track."
Yeah. Another gaming confession. I think Last of Us is like a supremely overrated game series, and like with The Last of Us, I think if Hideo Kojima and Neil Druckmann or whatever, I think if they're so inclined to like turn video games more into movies, they should just like stop and just like make
Make
movies.
a movie, yeah. I so I really like the first Last of Us because it felt more like a complete game. The Last of Us 2, like it's a great game and such, but I feel like that's when it tried to be much more cinematic. And then
Hmm.
especially with Uncharted 4, Uncharted 4 is one of my least favorite Uncharted, just because it kind of lost, at least to me, some of what made the series great, what made it fun.
Yeah.
And that kind of all started with the Last of Us was the first one to go downhill in that section, and then Uncharted 4 hit it, and then Last of Us 2 was just like, I beat it. It was a good game. I don't know if I'm gonna play it again. Like
Mhm.
I have no excitement for it.
Well, this was super fun. This was some of our gaming confessions. Elijah, I think we should probably do like a spin-off episode in the future and just do a hot takes episode. We'll keep that in our back pocket
I've
for like the next time Austin and Coach can't make it.
I've got some muy caliente takes, that's for
Oh,
sure.
que picante. Um,
Just
any
just wait until you hear what I think is the best game released in 2013.
Ooh. I think that about wraps us up. Do you have any final thoughts, questions, comments, concerns?
I do not believe so.
No? Oh, well, I want to thank you. You are going to be coming on to my other project very, very soon, Short Box Summary.
Yeah.
I saw someone asking in the Twitter replies to me, like announcing that we'd be recording more of those, like that you were looking for those. Thank you so much. I am recording, I think 3 or 4 episodes this week, and then I will start releasing them. And the plan right now is to do them weekly, just to build like a little back catalog, so we can just like release them smoothly and consistently. So look for more Shortbox. Elijah will be coming on to talk about Young Avengers and the debut of his favorite Marvel character, Kate Bishop. And Austin will be coming on to join with us, so we
I
can talk about the first comic book I asked him to read, which was Young Avengers.
I also want to put it out there that this is gonna kind of be a first for one, but we kind of talked about the other one a little bit. George, I want to just straight up ask you, how would you like to do a series with me where once a month we play a PS3 game and discuss it?
Oh, that would be fantastic. I actually just brought the rest of my PS3 collection from my dad's house over to my house.
Perfect. And I don't want to choose a game that's like, Lollipop Chainsaw that costs like $70 to get. I want to choose like a $15-$20 PS3 game that might not be the greatest, but in its own way, one of us enjoys in some fashion.
Right. Yeah, I will. I'll catalog up my collection. I'll let you know what I've got,
Sweet.
and we could let's just start with the things we already have. Unless you and if there's a game out there that's like cheap enough, yeah, let's go in on it and try it out.
The other thing I want to mention, I haven't told anyone about this yet, and I'm going to start looking into how I want to do it, but
Mhm.
I am going to do a new monthly series for the podcast about Resident Evil.
Ooh.
We all know it's one of my absolute favorite series. I want to start going through, like, maybe starting with the story, like, do a 2 or 3 episode the story of Resident Evil.
Mhm.
And then maybe go through some of the games. Just I'm not sure exactly how I want to do it yet, but I want to do a Resident Evil based show.
Awesome, man. I might engage with that instead of engaging with the games because, like, I think the lore about it is fascinating. I just hate feeling scared and vulnerable. So which is why I stay away from those games.
That's why you belong right here in my arms.
Yeah, I would keep me safe, Papa
I
Bear.
will.
You
I
can do
will.
it. All right. If you've made it this far into the podcast, thank you so much. Extremely cool of you to listen. It would be extremely helpful of you to share this podcast. You know where to find us. We are on Spotify. We were on iTunes, Apple iTunes. We are on your podcatcher of choice. So please spread the word if you think people would like this show. Growing the audience means we could get cooler guests, and getting cooler guests means we can grow the audience. And it is all cyclical, and it is awesome and very fun to do. So please spread the word. If you have questions, you can reach us at frameskippod on Twitter or bit.ly/frameskipq. Elijah, what is the Gmail for the podcast if people want to reach us that way?
frameskippodcast@gmail.com.
I can't believe I forgot that. I'm an idiot. If you want to reach Elijah on Twitter, you can reach him at Loco Lizardman. If you want to reach Austin On Twitter, you can reach him at Austin J. Eller. If you want to reach Coach on Twitter, you can reach him at frameskippod. If you want to reach Seth, he is at Seth, the 90s kid. Don't follow him, though. Just interact with him. Just harass him from afar by reinforcing all of his views on Star Wars and Power Rangers and various animes. He would love that. But whatever you do, do not follow him. If you want to follow me, you can find me at PurpleBird616.
You can also find me on Twitter or on Twitch
on
at
Twitch.
Local
I
Lizard Man.
forgot.
And if you're listening to this upon release this Friday, I'm going to be playing the Halo Infinite campaign.
Ooh. I'm going to do my darndest to play more of that game than you between the game's release and Friday so that I can jump into your stream and not be spoiled about cool, neat things to come.
I would say you'll probably be able to because Friday night is when I will be starting the campaign.
I like my chances then. That's great. Off the top of your head, do you remember who's playing Thursday Night Football this week?
I believe you said it was the Steelers and Vikings.
Oh, God. What a garbage fire.
Also, this is going to be afterwards, but I'm going to be co-streaming the Game Awards this Thursday. So you're not going to hear this till after that, but if you came to check it out, thank you.
Yeah, and also we made a live bet show based on the Game Awards that released last week. I am so excited to watch the Game Awards and see how we did. I need to print out that. I'll be keeping score. Follow at frameskippod, and we will be revealing live a score tally for who did the best with the bets.
Perfect.
Thank you so much for listening. Please have a wonderful week. Be safe out there. Be true to yourself out there. Listen to more Taking Back Sunday than you are currently listening to. And that's all I got. Elijah, anything else?
I'm going to be honest, I'm still at Taking Back Sunday, so no, I've got nothing.
I just want to bring you down so badly.
I've been listening to a lot of Yellow Card, so you know what? Listen to them as well.
Yeah, it's all right. We would have hung out in high school. Would have been fine.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Good night, Internet. Take care. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Smooch.